Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Let's be real, it's a bit of a surprise to see me using a neutral eyeshadow palette. They are not in my comfort zone. I get a little bit intimidated by them, but honestly, when I saw this one, the Natasha Denona I Need A Nude, she really did convince me that I needed a nude palette. And there's some new formulas in this, specifically around the shades Mia and Delilah, and they give you like this really interesting sort of like wet look shimmer. So as soon as I heard all of that, I was like, well, I'm gonna have to get it. Look, it took very little to twist this little rubber arm of mine. So today's video is essentially just a tutorial talking you through it, because I really feel like if you are spending a huge amount of money, let's be real, on a neutral palette, it's going to want to blend really easily, and you're going to want to be able to do a very simple eye look but have it look very impactful. So it's not a difficult tutorial at all, don't worry. There's definitely like steps you could cut out, but I just wanted to kind of put the palette through its paces from going from the lightest shade to the deepest shade and try out some of the different formulas. Now, for full disclosure, I am now, oddly, an affiliate with Natasha Denona. I have a code, it's Teresa, it gets you 15% off. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I literally could make money off of this if, you know, this entices you, so to speak. But my friends, I know a lot of you guys are keeping an eye out for this because this is coming out to Europe in Cult Beauty, Look Fantastic, etc. for September 1st. So I'm hoping that this might give you a little bit of an indication as to whether or not this palette is or is not for you. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then do please keep on watching. So honestly, it's a little bit unusual that I go for something that's a little bit more neutral, a little bit more dialed back. I generally like something quite graphic. But I figured with a palette like this, graphic doesn't make sense. You want to have something that's kind of classic, a little bit feminine. So I tried to kind of do my own thing with that. So that's what this is. But anyways, it's the I Need a Nude palette, and I started off by using this P. Louise number 271, and I went into the shade Fair. Now this is actually almost like the shade of my actual skin, so that's interesting. So I'm just kind of patting that on there, or not really patting, but blending it on. Now, this doesn't come up massively on me, again, because it is essentially the colour of my skin, although weirdly my eyelids are a little bit darker. But the pigmentation, the blend is really easy, which I really appreciate, because I think for a neutral palette, that's exactly what you want. Something that blends easily, that you don't have to work very hard on to get a very classic look. And this palette does essentially achieve that. And I was talking to my friend Daniela about this, and she was saying, actually, this is such a good palette because there was one that was done by Makeup by Mario a while ago, and it was called the Ethereal palette, and it was limited edition, and it was very popular, and the colour story was very similar to that, or similar to this, but unfortunately you can't get it anymore because it's limited edition. So this is really great for people who had that FOMO about Makeup by Mario's palette, because it'll give you the same sort of look. It's also kind of similar to the Going Coconuts palette by Colourpop, but obviously this has much more interesting kind of formulas, particularly when it comes to the shades Mia and Delilah, which I will be using later. You can see how this is kind of, well, obviously a very clear step up from Colourpop, but very nice. So I've laid it just down around here. It's so similar to my skin tone that it is kind of hard to see, but it's clearly there when I look at it. Anyways, I'm taking this Spectrum B11 and I'm going into the shade Mesh, which is a really nice kind of tone or two up from Fair. And I'm just popping that in along the socket and just building up the colour. Now, what I found really interesting was when this was being revealed initially, people were like, oh my god, she's duping herself, it's so close to the glam. And you'll see in a previous video of mine, I'll link it down below, A, I gave swatches, but B, I placed it right next to the Glam palette, and like, they're not similar at all. They're both neutral palettes, but Glam is a lot more darker than the I Need A Nude. So they're sister palettes for sure, like companions, but they are not the same by any stretch of the imagination. But you can see here, look at how lovely and easily this is blending. This is such an easy one to kind of smoke out. Now, if you like neutral eyeshadow palettes, and this is your sort of colour story, I mean, look at how easy this is blending for me. Now, I'll be 100% honest, and this is going to sound weird, I get intimidated by neutral eyeshadow palettes because I kind of don't know what to do with them, and I'm not the best at blending. I'm very impatient. I kind of want to get on with my day, although it's currently night, but whatever. So I kind of get a bit bored of blending, but like, look at how easily that's coming up for me. It's nuts. You could practically just leave it there and whack on a shimmer. It's really nice, really, really simple, but obviously I felt the need to do more. So I took this P. Louise, and it's the number 235, and I went into the shade Tender. And again, just kind of popping it into the socket. So this was released first on Natasha Denona's own website, which, by the way, and this is bizarre to me as I'm saying it, I am an affiliate. I have a code, it'll get you 15% off. It's Teresa, it'll be down below. But anyways, she kind of brought it out on her website first, and there was like a delayed launch to other places. So Cult Beauty, Look Fantastic, etc. are getting it on the 1st of September. Could I have waited? Absolutely. But I am impatient and I really wanted this. But honestly, for those of you who have waited, you're so smart. Honestly, like, it's a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier to get it with the likes of like Cult Beauty, Look Fantastic, etc. because you're not having to pay the shipping fees, etc. I'm an idiot, like, don't listen to me. But if you have your eyes on this, I mean, look at that. Look at how easily this is all coming. And I'm not getting any like skipping or anything. You know how like sometimes like you'll have like a shade that'll skip across the skin and you'll see where all the wrinkles and excess skin is, because I'm old and everything is sagging. But this, look at that. Lovely neutral eye look, like absolutely zero effort on my part, which I like, I very much enjoy. So if you're getting it with Look Fantastic or Cult Beauty, well done you. You have way more patience than me. If you want to, you can use my affiliate links down below for those sites. Don't worry if you don't want to. Let's be real, it doesn't make a massive difference to you. Like, unfortunately, I don't have any codes for them, although there's quite a few codes going for like Cult Beauty at the moment. There's like CBX Alana, and it normally gets you like 20% off, and I think Status and Summer is working for that. In terms of Look Fantastic, I can't think of any off at the top of my head, but look, just Google and see if you can get a little bit of money off. I mean, who wants to buy anything full price? So I'm taking that Spectrum B11 and going back into Mesh again, just to kind of pop in a little bit more of that colour and mesh it back in. I know, I hate myself as well for making that particular, not even a joke, but not even a play on words. I don't know. It's like midnight here and I can't sleep. So this is what I'm doing instead. It made sense at the time. And then just using the P. Louise 271 and going back into the shade Fair, I'm going to just soften that a smidge. But you can see they all blend frighteningly well. This is great for somebody like me who's just a bit nervous of blending. Well, not nervous of blending, bored with blending. I envy the people who have the patience to sit down and blend and blend and blend. I'm like, oh my God, you have the will of a god. I'm like 20 seconds into blending and I'm already thinking about something else that I want to do. I don't have the patience for it. So I'm using the P. Louise 271 and going back into Tender again, just to build up a little bit more. But like I said, this palette is great if you're like me and you have zero chill when it comes to blending and just can't be arsed. I mean, we've all been there. This is so nice. Again, you could just leave it at that and just pop a shimmer on at any point in this. Never be afraid to pop on a shimmer is my general life advice for you. I'm now taking my Zoeva 225 and I'm going into the deepest shade in the entire palette. It's Silhouette. So you can really see here when I'm showing you this palette, when you compare this to the Glam, this is way, way lighter in shades. Like the Glam is an awful lot more deep and sultry, but again, you can use the two of them together. This is a lot more like soft. There's a little bit of like, I suppose, femininity, although I hate kind of gendering it in that way, but you know what I mean? Like there's something a little bit softer, more subdued, demure, you know, just generally whatever about it. But let's get into silhouette. Now, you know the drill, lads. I'm popping it onto like a little resin thing so that I'm not packing on too much colour, because I mean, Natasha's formula, she usually has a decent amount of pigmentation, and once that shit is on, it's very, very difficult to disperse. So I'm just popping it on the outside of the eye and bringing it in, kind of working it along the socket again. But you can kind of see how all of those shades have merged together and blended so easily. I love that. I love that this is just a very simple, this is one of the easiest looks I've done in a really, really long time. And I'm kind of here for that. Like, I'm a lazy bee at the moment, struggling a little bit with motivation, etc. But this, I like this. So you do have to build it a little bit if you do it this way, but that's my general preferred thing. Like I said, you could just smash it on if you felt like that, if you have a little bit of a reckless abandon. But I'm playing it safe here, very, very much so. I mean, I said I had to use this shade. It's so spectacular. I'm just using my finger because honestly, this is the best way to apply it. So I'm going into Mia. Oh, that sounds wrong. But it's such a pretty, pretty shade. Hopefully you can see it there. And there's almost like this wet-like sort of a look to it, which I am 100% here for. Again, this is just a minimum effort. I am an expensive bee. Let me get around. But look at that. She's so pretty. She's so sparkly. I'm living for that. I just think it's so nice. And then because I didn't want to have like a really, really harsh transition from Mia into the shade Silhouette, I figured I'd go into the shade Filigree, which is kind of like a darker, not quite satin, not quite total shimmer, but there's this very nice, nice texture to it. I don't want to say buttery because like, ugh, but butter-esque, butter adjacent, something in the dairy family. But we're just going to pop that on there and just kind of tap it. And you can kind of see it there. Now, don't worry, I'm going to pop a little bit more Mia on there, but it's really very pretty. And then all I'm doing then is just taking this, I think it's a Morphe, yeah, a Morphe M562, and I'm just going to brush along here to just diffuse a little bit, but I will be going back in and shoving a little bit more Mia on. Not so much Filigree, because that's fine. It was just really wanted to kind of parse that out a little bit further, but really wanted to kind of disperse specifically Filigree. But let's pop a little bit more Mia on here because she's so pretty. Honestly, I could probably shove my entire body into this formula. It's so, so pretty. Like I said, it gives you like that wet look, but without being weird and creepy. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this edge and actually this edge here. There we go. I know that looks really, really strange. I'm just going into a MAC paint pot. You're going to be like, what the fuck are you doing, Teresa? I wanted to incorporate as much of this as I possibly could. So don't come for me. And I'm just using a Made by Mitchell brush for this. Should I have used something smaller? Probably, but whatever. It is what it is. But the very, very last thing that I'm doing then is just going into the shade Delilah. Like I said, this is one of the like really sparkly formulas, so I had to use it again. I mean, she's beautiful. So I'm literally just popping that on there. She's so pretty. And then I'll just be doing like a little wing. Now you don't have to watch me do that, that would be a bit boring. that is essentially it. That's the whole look. So disgustingly simple, but we're here for it. And then I'm going to show you the full look together. I'm going to be honest, I feel like I'm going to have to use a red lip. And Natasha has like this I Need A Rouge kind of lip liner and this weird little stiletto like lipstick. And I think I'm going to use that. There's one that's like a really blue toned red. And I think it's going to be perfect for this. So I'll probably come back with that. And obviously I've done the rest of the face, but who cares? I just wanted a bit of red lipstick. I kind of felt that for a very simple, sultry sort of an eye look like this, that a red lipstick would be perfection for it. And I kind of had my eye on this. I figured it would make the most sense. This is Natasha Denona's Amelia lipstick. It's a stiletto, which is a strange name for it, and the matching lip liner. So I figured it would go well with this, and I gotta say, putting it all together, it looks really, really nice. But I'm gonna zoom you in now so you can see the eye look and kind of get an idea of what those shimmers look like and what those mattes look like when they're blended out. So this is what it looks like. It's all very, very user-friendly, very easy to do. I did do a little bit of like a liner as well in there. And I think it looks nice. I mean, obviously, my experience is that kind of glasses somewhat detract a little bit. So obviously I'll take this off now so you can see it. Don't mind the dents that are probably in my nose, but hopefully you can kind of see a little bit of this kind of wet look that comes with the shades, specifically Mia and Delilah. I think they're so pretty. And this is such a simple sort of a look. And when I showed this to Sahil, he said, why don't you do looks like this more often? How dare he? I kind of knew that I was going to get on well with this when I swatched this previously. The formula is just really nice, really buildable, really blendable, all of the things that I really like. I will also say I have a lot of Natasha Denona palettes, right? It's not a coincidence. It's because I really enjoy her formula. It's very rare that I find a palette of hers just doesn't hit the spot. And this is definitely one of them. It kind of surprised me a little bit as to how much I enjoyed this. I feel like this will work really, really well with the Glam palette. I also feel like if you paired this with the new Mini Starlet, this could work quite nicely. For those of you who feel a bit salty about missing out on the Makeup by Mario Ethereal palette, I feel like this will be a really, really great alternative rather than trying to go through Depop, etc. to find an old limited edition palette. I like that this isn't limited edition. This is very almost springtime, so it's kind of unusual that she came out with it at the end of August, but so pretty. Like I can still do something like this around winter, autumn, etc. That shade Silhouette, it's dark. It's the darkest shade in there, but it really kind of pulls everything together. So in this look, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shades out of the 15. So from that I can kind of derive quite a bit from this. I thought it was so beautiful, so beautiful. There's definitely some shades in here as well, like Wit and Vague, that if you felt like it, you probably could get a blush out of it. I suspect I could probably use Mia as like a highlighter as well, but I'm like, no, I'm saving you for my eyelid. I thought that this palette was really, really beautiful and really great if you're looking for like a new nude palette. If, however, you have loads of neutral palettes already, you probably don't need this, right? And if you're not into neutrals, well, you were never probably going to get this anyways. And if you did watch this video, my goodness, thank you anyways. I really liked this. The big question I always ask to myself is, if something happened to my makeup collection, touch wood, would I go out and repurchase this and kind of start off the makeup collection again? I actually do think I would. I think this is a really great kind of one and done palette. I haven't had to really reach into anything else. This is great for, you know, you could use it for work, you can use it for like a really nice night out, for date night, lots of things. Yes, it is expensive. It absolutely is. My advice, I'm a terrible affiliate, is to not go via Natasha Denona's website. Oh my god, what am I saying? Go via Cult Beauty, go via Look Fantastic, etc. There's always a ton of codes there. You also don't have to pay for delivery in the same way. I know that if you're in the US and Canada, it's getting a little bit more tricky now to get Natasha Denona, because I think they're filtering it out of so far. I could be wrong. I don't know. I think Kelsey told me that, but I could have taken it up wrong, so don't don't listen to me. But at least for you guys, getting it from Natasha Denona is a little bit easier. Denona is a difficult surname to pronounce. Ooh. But for my UK European friends, probably go via Look Fantastic or Cult Beauty, and in which case, I'm sorry, I have no code for you. But if you have been looking for this, oh my goodness, I think you will really enjoy it. I got on really well with the shades. I'm not a pro MUA, you guys know that. I am just a major makeup enthusiast. So if I can get them to work for me, the person who's just enjoys makeup, then you guys will be able to enjoy this as well. So yeah, this gets like a 10 out of 10 from me. I really like it. I love the fact that she has like a brand new formula in there. It's genuinely interesting to me. But my friends, that's it. That's the end of the video. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on those notification bells just so you can see whether or not I'm coming out with new videos. Sometimes I do. It's a whole thing. And do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs. In which case, just wrap it up. Don't be gross, but that's it. That's the end of the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.